Hello, my name's Scott. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review.
It's a kind of magic.
In today's review, we're looking at Luca Bono's Finger Off Extreme. And I have to say that my TLDR on this is that it's brilliant. As I was saying, my TLDR on Luca Bono's Finger Off Extreme is that it's brilliant. It's approximately £25 and it's available in lots of areas. But I think that this is such a fun idea, it's such a fun prop. And this, I think, is somewhere between Sylvester the Jester and Tobias Dostal. It's a mix of their creative ideas within magic. And I just think it's one of those things that is suitable for all people, children, adults, old age pensioners. I think it's something that's really surprising and really shocking when you perform it. And it's also really entertaining and fun. So as a magician, I think that you can't really go wrong for £20, £25 for Luca Bono's Finger Off Extreme. But what is it? I've kind of just shown you in the TLDR what it is. It's the classic idea of taking your thumb off like this, taken to the extreme. You actually are able to take a finger off and you leave the bone and some of the gruesome blood and gore exposed. And then you put your finger back or you put your thumb back and you restore it. So that's what it is. It's a extreme, interesting, comic-like, or kind of like a real-life cartoon magic trick. And there's not much more to say on it. I'll leave a short clip of a performance that I created for social media at the end of this review so that you can have a look a little bit more. There'll also be clips of Luca performing this throughout the review, but I'm sure by this point you have an idea of what it is. What do you get? In this little box, you receive this, which pops open. You receive the gimmick inside, which I'm sure you know what the gimmick is at this point. It's a piece that's really well made, by the way. That is going to last you forever. Unless you break it or unless you stamp on it or something like this, it will last you your entire life. And it's a little piece that you add to your hand. And then you also receive a little bit of like bandage material, but it's not typical bandage material that you would buy to actually bandage yourself. And that allows you to perform another presentation. So you receive an extra little piece of material. You also receive a little bit of this special putty. So Luca has said that he tried really hard to find a putty that worked, a red colored putty, but he couldn't find it anywhere. So he had to create his own that looked good. It looked like real blood. It looked like a real gory special effect. So that's also included. And then there's a little pamphlet inside the box that shows you basic instructions, but there's also a QR and URL to go to a approximately 30-minute long instructional video that's on YouTube that Luca takes you through everything really thoroughly. The instructions have multiple handlings of Finger Off Extreme. The camera angles are really good. Considering that Luca is Italian and, well, presumably his first language would be Italian, his English and explanations of everything are really good, really thorough. And I think that he's included everything that you need and more on these instructions. There's ideas of carrying the gimmick in different ways that are safer, using magnets, and there are so many details that Luca includes that really shows he knows this product inside and out, and he offers you a lot of value with what you get in the product as a whole. But hopefully that's covered everything that you receive with Finger Off Extreme. How easy is it to perform? It's pretty easy. As you can imagine, you're adding a piece and then removing a piece. Some of the handlings are easier than others, and without getting too far ahead of ourselves, some are more angly than the others. Most of the handlings and most of the performances are pretty easy. You will need basic sleight of hand to perform this, and I would say that you couldn't probably perform it as a complete beginner magician. You will need some practice, but you certainly don't need any ridiculous sleight of hand for this. The process of it is really simple. And as I mentioned before, Luca does take you through various different handlings, some of them easier than others, if you want to perform it in an easier way rather than one of the slightly more difficult ways. Overall, the whole effect is pretty easy to perform. And the reset time is fantastic for this. In performing, you're instantly reset. And then also, I mentioned earlier on in the review that Luca takes you through some things with magnets. So you're able to ditch things. The piece that you're adding, the bone piece, is magnetic. So that's a really nice feature that Luca didn't have to build into it, but clearly he understands what it means to be a performing magician. And to have these extra little bits, extra little, not accessories, but features within a product that help us perform in lots of different ways. And with everything in mind, from the ergonomics to the fact that it's magnetic, all of these things allow us to get into basically an instant reset for this. The only thing I would say is that you will have to steal the piece and then you will have to ditch the piece. So while it's not an instant reset, it is an almost instant reset, and it is very easy to reset in general with all of the resources that Luca provides you in the tutorial. Angles are interesting. There are varying different degrees of angles for this, depending on which way you want to perform it. And I think that there are some that you can perform quite surrounded, perhaps not fully surrounded, but I think that there's a performance and a handling on the instructions that will suit every different kind of scenario, whether you're a working magician, whether you're working in a restaurant, whether you're at a wedding, whether you're just with your friends in a bar or a pub, or even at home. I think there's a handling that will suit everyone here for the angles. But as I say, some of the angles are more restrictive than the others, and you'll just have to gauge that on the performance situation that you're in. But just know that there are handlings that cover pretty much all performance situations. Pocket space is amazing for this. You can keep it in this if you want, which is roughly the same size as a film canister, one of those old film canisters. Luca does give you a couple of other tips of different ways that you can carry the gimmick in a smaller container than this, which again is really nice touch and shows that Luca really fully knows this product and really understands what magicians need in terms of carrying props and carrying products, whether they be a hobbyist, an amateur magician, semi-pro or pro. So there are options for everyone here in terms of pocket space. You can have it ready to retrieve and ditch with a magnet. You can carry it in a container. You can carry it in a smaller container. Luca covers all of this in the instructions. And for that reason, it's going to take up very minimal pocket space. My final thoughts on this: I love it. I think for £20, £25, I don't think you can go wrong with this. It's funny, it's shocking, it's entertaining, it's suitable for pretty much all ages. It is very visual. I think it ticks pretty much most of the boxes that you would want to tick with a magic trick. Oh, and it's easy to do. So if you haven't heard of this before, or you haven't seen it before, I think by watching the trailer and also watching my performance at the end of this review, I think you'll know what you're buying. And I think that the price for what Luca provides you with is very reasonable. And that's all I have to say. This was one of my favorite things that I purchased and also that I saw at Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. And I'm really happy that I discovered this. I hope that I've helped you discover it as well. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment below. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll leave links in the video description of some places where you can buy this, but it's available in lots of different magic shops. I'll see you in the next review, but here is my short social media video clip that I recorded the other day of Finger Off Extreme. Enjoy.